Okay, everybody, so today's the day I'm going to be doing one part of the garage door maintenance that I told you about. This will probably be maybe, I'd say, two, no more than three videos. So what we're going to do today is we're going to focus mostly on the doors themselves and also the springs. The openers I'll probably work on for the next video, just so that way it's not too long of a video and, you know, more to see, I guess, whatever. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start with the hinges. We're going to do the hinges, the door arms I'll do for the opener portion, and you'll see why. So hinges, bottom brackets, bolts, and anything else that happens to come into play here. All right. So let's go ahead and start with the door that's closed, and I'll show you some of the things that I'm going to do. So one of the things I'm going to do to start is I'm just going to get off some just some surface dirt here and there on the hinges. All the hinges, the top brackets and everything, just so there's just kind of a clean-ish surface, I guess you could say, to put some new lubricant on. I lubricated these hinges, I think, in either 2017 or 2018, so it's been about 4 to 5 years, so I figured now is probably a good time to do it again. So all the hinges, top brackets, everything, try to get off as much surface dirt as I can, and then once I do that, we'll go ahead and, before putting on the lubricant, we'll make sure all these bolts are nice and tight. It's basically as it sounds. I'm just going to take this blue shop towel here and just take off some stuff that I can along the hinges here and everything. Again, it doesn't have to be spotless or perfect or anything like that, just to get off, you know, again, some surface dirt, just for the sake of, what do you call it, having a good surface to spray the lubricant on and everything. Not too much for the top brackets. The only thing you really got to lubricate there is the roller shaft, but again, same thing over here, hinge in the middle. Just get some debris here and there. I know it's not how you say the term, I'm just doing that to be funny in case anyone says. All right, so over this hinge and everything, hinges, yeah, there's a lot of dirt on this one. Get some of this off and everything. Now, just one thing I want to let you guys know, a thing about the bottom brackets, never ever try to take a bottom bracket off when the door is down, because as you can see, the spring cable is attached to it, and needless to say, when the door is down, the spring is under tension, so is the cable. So always be careful on the bottom brackets, don't ever try to loosen them when the door is down, okay? So we'll do that too, and we'll also take note of where the spring cable attaches to the bracket to put the lubricant on there as well. Alright, so we'll go ahead and take care of all that, and then we shall check all the bolts to make sure that they're nice and snug. We're going to go ahead and check all these bolts on the doors and make sure that they're all nice and snug still after quite a few years of use now. All of these particular bolts are 11 millimeter. Some of them may be different depending on your door, but for most of them, I believe they're 11 millimeter. If not, you can always just try some sockets, see which one fits the best. So we'll go ahead and start with this hinge actually. Again, these don't have to be like super tight or anything. You just want them to be snug still. So I'll go ahead and put this one on here, and all right, that feels good. Okay. Oh yeah, these still feel pretty good. Oh, this one's moving a little bit. Okay. I'll go ahead and check. Now this isn't really a hinge, but we'll check the handle. Why not? Could be a little bit tighter, I guess. But this one's actually pretty. There we go. Okay. And we'll check the handle itself. Not bad. Okay, that's good. All right, and then we'll go to some other parts of the door. Let's check here at the bottom handle. There we go. That did a little bit of turns out of it. Same with this one. Okay. And try the slide bolt lock. Okay, that moved a little bit. Not bad. Should be two more on the bottom here, and there are. That's good. Okay. And for the most part, the sides and this middle here should be going into like a frame behind the metal, so it should not, like, you know, strip out or anything. But you just want to be careful. Now, bottom brackets. We're going to be, this particular door does have locking tabs on the side to prevent the bracket from swinging out if you were to foolishly take the screws off. Now, in this case, we're going to be tightening them, so you should be fine. But if by chance you're uncomfortable with working on the bottom bracket while the door is down, just put the door up. That way the spring tension is off, and you should be okay. But in this case, I'm going to tighten these So, oh yeah, that turned a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and do the other bottom bracket. I know I'm showing you all the hinges and stuff here, but I figured why not? That feels good. This should fit, I hope. A little bit of trouble because of the shaft there. Maybe I gotta open the door first to do that one. So, top brackets, good, good. And the ones up there, I'll have to get a step stool. I'll save those for last. Here, where this hinge is attached to this reinforcing thing for the opener arm. Okay. That turns a little bit. Okay. Good. Good. And one up there at the door arm, which I think I'll have to get after I take the arm off later on. Or no, actually it makes it. Good. That feels fine. Go for the strut, why not? Good. And I think that's just about everything. Okay, now we're going to go lubricate the hinges and other accessories. So what we're using in this case is this Blaster brand premium silicone garage door lubricant. I've heard this stuff is pretty good to use, so I figured why not give it a try. I forget what I used last time a few years ago, but it was silicone based as well. I got 2 of these, so it should be plenty to cover everything that we got to do here. So we're going to go ahead and just going to give it a good shake up. And basically any place you see here where the hinge would turn is a good place to spray. So we're going to spray like in this seam right here. Right there. If you make a little bit of a mess, that's okay. You can always clean it up afterwards. A little bit right there. Inside here where the roller shaft is. I did this already, yeah, okay. Some right here. Here. Now, these are nylon rollers, but if you go between the metal shaft and the roller itself here, it's not a bad place to spray. Inside this portion of the roller. Okay. And just show you again. We'll do one of the hinges that doesn't have the roller. We'll go left to right, I guess. So like inside here is a good spot. Okay. Here, probably already got covered. We'll do here a little bit as well. Same thing. This portion right here, where there's metal on metal. Okay. Same thing over here. Inside here. And you get the basic idea. I mentioned the spring cables at the bottom brackets where it hooks on. That's a good spot for when the when the bottom section goes vertical or horizontal. Want to reach carefully right inside there at the cable and just give it a little spray. Whoop. That should do it, just like that. We'll go to the other cable. This one will be a little bit hard to see. There's some stuff in the way. Plus the door's over on this side a little bit more, so that's right there. Give that a good spray too. That way that cable should be lubricated as well. Actually here, while we're at the bottom bracket, we'll go ahead and spray the roller shaft where it connects to the bracket. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and do the rest of the hinges. And of course, naturally, once you're done spraying, there's going to be some overspray here and there and such around the door. So simple enough, take your shop towel and just get off any overspray that you want. Again, you don't really have to do this unless you want the doors to look like, you know, really, really nice. But I mean, just to make things a little bit less messy, it definitely wouldn't hurt to just get rid of some of the overspray. Like there's some on this part of the door right here. Again, we'll get that off. Same thing over here. Just like that. So, you know, basically just go anywhere along the door, like where it kind of looks glossy from the silicone spray. And then just go ahead and, yeah, get the rest of it off the door. And then you should be all set. So again, the opener arms I'll do once I do the opener portion of the work, and you'll see why. All right, so now come the spring pulleys. Needless to say, you want to be careful here because the door's down and these are under tension. Now, in this case, I'm going to spray the inside bearings. You can see a little space there. I'll show it to you again. With the door down, only because this is just, the pulleys are most easily accessible with the door in this current position, okay? If you're not comfortable with doing it this way, what I recommend doing is you can open the door, like you see the other two, okay? And if you look here, you can see that there's a space where you can reach in, and you can easily get the sprayer onto the pulley right through there with the door open. If you don't feel comfortable doing it with the door down, go ahead and open the door, and you can get it through the opening right there onto the pulley. The only downside is the pulley on the spring may be a little bit harder to access. I mean, maybe not. As you can see, you can put a ladder here or something. But it also depends on if your pulley remains vertical, if it goes tilted like that when the door's open. It all depends. So again, in this case, I'm going to do it with the door closed just because, again, they're most accessible. But again, if you're not comfortable with doing that, go ahead and open the door, and you can find other ways of getting the lubricant spray into the pulley bearings. One thing I would like to say, however, though, is that if by chance you get a lot of overspray on the pulley and you want to clean it off, do that portion with the door open. Don't try to clean off the pulley with the door closed, okay? That I definitely don't recommend. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to point the straw here, right inside the bearing, right there, okay? Give it a couple of sprays, or a couple of sprays, let's see. I get the camera, okay. On both sides. Okay, that should do it. Again, you can do the same thing on the pulley there with the springs attached. Again, be very careful here. If you don't think this is a good idea, open the door. I'm going to go on the top there, give it a spray. Whoop, give it a spray. There we go. That should be plenty. All right. So now, a little bit of drips. That's okay. Just stay out of its way. And then I'm going to go do the same thing with those two pulleys over there. And one thing I want to tell you guys too about the pulleys is that the bearings are open on both ends, which basically means that if you spray on one end, if you spray on one side of the pulley, it will go over to the other side as well. So it covers, like, you know, both areas. So if you want to do the open door scenario, like I said, if you're worried about the spring tension, do it that way. Should be just fine. Okay, so now with the door all done, might not be a bad idea to maybe run it up and just see how it sounds. If anything, it should sound nice and quiet. Now, probably the best way to do that, in my opinion, would be to just operate it manually, so you don't have the sound of the opener motor interfering with anything. So let's go ahead and do that. Plus, I'm sure some of you would like to see that. So we'll go ahead and we'll disengage it from the opener, just like that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and open the door. Here, we'll look at the spring pulley since I did those, and we'll see how it sounds. Sounds good to me. Don't hear any hinges creaking or anything. That sounds pretty fantastic, if I'm honest. One thing to watch out for, though, I will say, is any overspray of silicone or grease, whatever you use, might have a little bit of a drip to it. So just watch out for that. Maybe stay clear or go in between the pulleys as you're operating the door, just so that way you don't get anything on you, okay? All right, so now that door sounded really good. So we'll go ahead and we'll lower it back down. Seems to be going pretty well. Oh, I'm hearing a little bit of a creak. Which hinge was that? I think it was this one. Let's see, I think it was this one maybe. Yep, I think it's that hinge right there. All right, let's go ahead and give that hinge a little spray then. Okay, so put a little bit more lubricant on that hinge, and let's see how it sounds. We'll lift the door. Sounds okay. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and lower the door again. Oh, much better. See? No more creaking of the hinge. That's why you should lift the door manually and lower it without the opener, so you can tell exactly where you hear sounds. All right, so I'd say this door is all set to go. Okay, so there's one more thing I want to do with this door here. If you have an extension spring door, like I do, you want to be absolutely sure that, for one, it has a containment cable to contain the spring in the event of a breakage. But you also want to be sure that these containment cables are nice and taut, so that way, when a break does happen, the spring is, well, nice and contained up there. Now, the only hard part is you obviously don't want to do it with the door down because it's under full tension, and that can be kind of dangerous. But the other thing that you want to take into account is when the door's open, okay, once the spring gets loose enough, at some point gravity is going to take over, and then as you can see, the spring will sag, which is normal, but then that sagging on the spring puts a little bit of pressure on the containment cable, which makes it harder to make sure it's taut at its end over there. So what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of tension on it, just so that way it's not fully stretched, but it has a little bit of tension just to hold itself up, so that way it's not putting pressure on the containment cable when you try to check for how taut it is. So I found a good way to do that is, I kind of experimented with this a few years ago. I like to lower the door down until just about to the point where the bottom section just about goes vertical, okay? And by doing that, as you can see, here's a fully relaxed spring for comparison. By the point that the bottom section goes vertical, you can see that there's a little bit of tension on the spring, just enough to hold it up and keep any extra pressure off the containment cable, so you can check it to be sure that it's still all nice and taut. Now, again, this is the way that I do it, which I think is a good way to do it. If you have anything else, you can always tell me, but this is a good way to go about it. So lower the door till the bottom section is just about vertical, and it should have just enough tension to check the containment cable. So now we're up here at the track, and you can see the containment cable. This is a little bit looser than I would like to be. It's not bad, but I would just like it to be a little bit more taut than this. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here. Here's where the containment cable currently is. And if you just kind of fish the cable through and keep the knots up, you can get a little bit more tension on it, and it'll be just like a friction hold, like work the cable knots through, and then you should be able to get a little bit more tension on your containment cable. Alright, so that took a little bit of work. I had to grab the cable with pliers to try to pull it and work the knot through to make it a little bit tighter. But if you look at the containment cable now, definitely has more tension on it, as you can see. You see that? Shakes a little bit, not sagging as much. Here, let me get another shot of that in case you saw it before. Yeah, see, it definitely looks tighter, which is good. Alright, so we tighten that cable up, and then we'll go ahead and do the other one on the other side. Okay, now one more thing to check. So basically, one of the things I want to check is I want to make sure both the nuts for the spring hooks are still nice and tight, because when we first came here, believe it or not, the people who installed these doors, they let those nuts loose, which was a very, very dumb thing, needless to say, okay? So in this case, you definitely want to have the door all the way open. So we do that. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and go on up there, check out the nuts on the hooks, and make sure that they're all good. Get you a good angle here. Check it out. Oh yeah, these seem perfect. Good, so the work I did has held up. Let's go ahead and check the other one. Okay, now we'll check this one. Oh yeah, still just as tight as it was last time. Perfect, so those are all set to go as well. Beautiful. And those are pretty much the steps you need to do for every garage door that you have. Just some lubrication at the hinges where the cable attaches, the spring pulleys. There you go. You just run the video and you can see exactly what you got to do. Now, I'm not going to do the same detailed stuff that I did for the other doors that I did for this door, but I know some of you may want to see some stuff, so why don't we go ahead and change door number 3 and 2. I'm sure some of you would love to see that. All right, there you go. So now we are going to go ahead and do to door number 2 the same thing we did to door number 3. All right, everyone. So just took care of the second door now, and I guess one thing we can do on video is we'll do the same thing that we did before. We'll run it up and down and see if the hinges make any noise. So let's release it. There we go. Okay. Let's lift it up. So far, not hearing anything. Pretty good. All right, let's run it back down. We'll go from the other side. Nothing. Perfect. No creaking whatsoever. All right, so like the other door, we'll go ahead and check the containment cables and the hooks. All right, now second door is all done. Spring hooks were good. One of the 2 containment cables just needed to be a little bit more taut, but the other one was fine. So, all right, second door is all done. So let's go to door number 1 now. Alrighty, same procedure as last time. Okay, and now this door has all been cleaned off, checked the bolts, sprayed, and everything. So, all right, let's operate this door now. So, as usual, release. Okay, and now let's lift it up and see if it makes any sounds. Well, one thing, the chain definitely needs to be tightened a little bit, but we'll take care of that. All right, but I don't hear any hinges creaking, so that's good. Okay, let's lower the door back down. And we'll go from this side, actually, over here. You can hear rubbing on the chain, so that needs to be adjusted. Door looks nice and stable there. All right, that sounds fantastic. So like the other doors, let's go ahead and check out the containment cables and the hooks, and then we are all done with this part. All right, and now door number 1 is all set. Both spring hooks were good. This containment cable was good. This one though, oh man, this thing was a job and a half to get all nice and taut. Had to fiddle around there with the knots and everything. Had to get some pliers, get the cable pulled through more. Oh, that was definitely that was a pretty involved job there. But now it's all nice and taut, so better than it was before, which is the important part. All right, everybody. Well, so basically, this is the first part of the garage door maintenance. We checked the springs, containment cables, the pulleys. Well, what else did we do? Lubricated, or relubricated, I should say, the hinges, the part where the cable attaches to the bottom bracket. And for the next part, we shall go ahead and work on the openers, get those all in a tip-top shape. And hopefully, I'll also be inspecting the gears inside all 3 of them. Hopefully they're still good, and if they are, I'll just regrease them. But we'll get to there when we get to there. So for now, thank you very much for watching, and take care.